Namaste, dear ones. How are you? Lisa A. Romano here, talking to you about all the stuff that's related to being the adult child of an alcoholic. And today I want to talk to you about why it's so great to be the adult child of an alcoholic. I know that sounds bizarre because for those of us who are adult children of alcoholics and grandchildren of alcoholics, we grew up feeling like our life sucked. And for the most part, it did. Who wants to grow up feeling invisible? I know I didn't, but that was my experience. I grew up feeling invisible. I didn't feel real. I wondered, if I was even alive because nobody really talked to me. Everyone talked at me. So there was no, hey, how are you feeling today, Lisa? How was your day, Lisa? And if I ever did hear that, all I was supposed to say was, it was great. Everything was great. And I was supposed to smile and make everybody else in my experience feel better about themselves. See, if I complained, then that pissed people off. So I knew emotionally and vibrationally, I could tell by just the way I felt around my parents, and not just about my parents, about my aunts and uncles, that I was not supposed to complain. Don't rock the apple cart. No, 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 no. Good codependents don't rock the apple cart. You tolerate it. We are shamed and guilted into taking care of other people that should be taking care of themselves. Excuse me. And this unconditional love thing, throw it out the window. The only person that you're supposed to have unconditional love for is you. That's right, you. But you see, when you're the child of people who wish to emotionally manipulate you, then you were told things like, don't be selfish. And don't be mean. How dare you say that about so-and-so? So-and-so could have been treating you like crap, but that's okay. We're not allowed to talk about it. Shh. Don't talk about it. You know what I'm talking about. The no-talk rule, right? Every ACOA knows what that's about. Adult children of alcoholics are not allowed to tell the truth. None. So what do? We deny ourselves. We pretend that we're not in pain because we think that's what we're supposed to do. So when we marry people who treat us like crap and we feel like we're in pain, we act like we're not. Why? Because our programming, our data, the stuff that was brainwashed into our very impressionable minds when we were children has us believing that our feelings don't matter. So guess what? They don't matter. They don't matter. At least on the surface, we think that they don't matter. But below the surface, we know there's this quickening in our spirit all the time. We have this feeling like something's wrong, but we don't know what the hell to do about it. And so we become out of focus and we try to control everything that's on the outside of us. And that doesn't work, or it works for a certain amount of time. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't work anymore. And we don't know how to cope because guilting people and manipulating people and crying and learned helplessness and playing the victim usually gets people to do what we want them to do. And all of a sudden, one day, they just don't want to play that game anymore. And we feel screwed. We don't know what to do. We feel like lost in space, like danger, danger. We don't know how to cope. So one of the things that I've learned to do on my road to recovery is really try to put things in perspective and be as grown up and as big a girl as possible, meaning I have to be mature and accept that I am nobody else's boss. Everybody gets to feel the way they want, even if it is completely against what I want them to want, even if they can't stand me. That's okay, because I've learned to like me. And once you get to that point, it's like, oh, I get it. It was my attachment to everything that made me feel uncomfortable. It was my attachment or my addiction to an outcome that made me feel comfortable. And why do we have attachments to outcomes? Because that's where we find control. So we feel so out of control within that we try to control everything around us. Now, those of us who get to a certain age, like 30 and 40, we're tired of that. That's exhausting. We understand at one point, like, all this time that we thought we were controlling other people was nonsense. It was BS. It was an illusion. But we don't know any better because mom and dad were always trying to control us. What do we know? So as adults, thank God, we have this thing called free will. Amazing. And we also have what's called a higher self. Holy Spirit. That's right, you have the Holy Spirit. As a matter of fact, you are the Holy Spirit. Within you is a Holy Spirit. You. Isn't that awesome? So this is what happens when you start to wake up as an ACOA. You begin to realize that in all the unwanted stuff from childhood, there were great, great desires being created within you. And they never leave you. Nope, those desires never go away. I'm living proof of it. I remember being 7 or 8 years old, praying and praying and praying that I would find someone in my life that could hear me, that wanted to know me as a person inside. And I yearned my whole life for that type of relationship, even though I never saw it in my environment. And guess what? At 45, I met my husband, my second husband, who is just the most amazing individual, who sees my worth on the inside, who accepts my crazy self, and who encourages me to be everything that I can absolutely be and everything that I want to be, which, what's better than that? So if I can do it, you can do it. And I think the reason that my life turned around was because I learned to allow myself to feel good. I gave myself permission to feel good. I began to understand that that's why I was born. And that just because my childhood experiences were what they were, did not mean that as an adult, I couldn't have the most amazing, abundant life experiences. I've learned to absolutely separate the two. And I learned to mother myself and parent myself. And it really helped propel me forward. And now I'm an ACOA coach. How cool is that? Now I help people like you. People like you reach out to me all the time. It's the most amazing experience ever. And if you would have told me 20 years ago, when I was in the height of my panic disorder and depression, you name it, I was a mess. If you would have told me 20 years ago that I'd be here making this video, I would have probably told you, no way. I couldn't have seen it. But all I did was slowly followed my bliss. I began to detach, let people not like me. I upset some apple carts. I started using the term, sorry you feel that way, but this is my reality. Sorry you feel that way. This is my reality. This is how I feel. And yeah, a lot of people walked away, but I gained so many other life experiences along the way and manifested amazing relationships after all the crappy ones began to fall apart. And that can happen to you. I'm no different than you. I came here the same way you did. And I have a spirit, and I have a brain, and you have a spirit, and you have a brain. So all we got to do is kind of like get on the same page. So I encourage you to check my stuff out. My website is www.healingselfesteem.com. My books are called The Road Back to Me, My Road Beyond the Codependent Divorce, Loving the Self-Affirmations, and Quantum Tools to help you heal your life. Check it out. Namaste, everybody. Namaste.